Ethan created an amazing AI tool that is now very popular among those who at least see this tool and realize it exists. However, he spent way too much time developing this tool. And now he realized he would be so much better off if he just launched much earlier when he had the minimum viable product, which means it has the most necessary features. Without the tool cannot exist, cannot work. In this interview, he will provide many valuable real-life experience and advice, and also valuable software solutions that you can use to analyze the behavior of your users, and other AI tools that can help you to promote or build your software. You found Acedit.ai, a very innovating tool that practice interviews, job interviews. I have never seen something like that, so it will be a very exciting journey to learn from.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you, Will. Yeah, it's been a wild journey, a great one, a lot of learnings along the way. Um, I started ACIT back when my brother came to me. He was struggling in job interviews, and he's a very talented person. And I'm wondering why can't he excel? Why can't he bring forward all the examples he wanted to in the interview and get so nervous? Why does this happen? And how can it be approached or fixed? At the time, AI was just starting to become this wild thing. And I thought to myself, all the technical abilities, technical tools are there to build a product that can help people prepare and excel whilst they're in their online job interview. So I went and started building it. Whilst I was working full time, I
Wow.
dedicated a lot of nights to late at night working on building out my MVP. And yeah,
Minimum viable product.
yes, I like
So
that
the
the entire thing is minimum viable product. I didn't get the minimum part, you see. That's part of my problem, which I guess we could go into, is when when have you reached your MVP? Especially being a solo founder and not having many people to bounce off. I just kept getting dug into the nitty gritty and not really fully being satisfied with where it was at, and not thinking it was ready for customers to be on board and happy to pay for it. So it really took me a while or it took me an instant. Like, I talked with a friend who had a startup in the past, and he said the best advice I got was just build and ship it as early as possible. I mean, the best learnings you're going to get are from your customers using the product. Otherwise, you're just kind of guessing what features they want, or you're kind of guessing how it may go wrong here or there. The best way is to just put it out there, and when stuff breaks, which is inevitable, you just figure it out. You figure it out, patch it, and that's the best way to approach it. And another reason why I wish I released it earlier was, um, everyone knows SEO is extremely important and takes takes time. It really does take time. So the earlier you get your product out there, the sooner the algorithms can start to see that this product exists and start to index it. So that's been crucial.
How did you come up with features? Did you ask your brother or did you come up yourself?
See, that's the thing. Early on, I guess I didn't even ask my brother that much. I just thought I put myself in the shoes of what I thought my user would be. Everyone looks for jobs. Of course, I've done it before many times. So uh, I only looked at it from that perspective. So I didn't even really do many potential research with potential users and question and answers to get feedback on what features they would want. I just anticipated it myself, which in hindsight isn't probably the best way to go about it, because I did end up building features that weren't really required. Um, so it was interesting. Um, but yeah, in a little nutshell of what the product is. So what it does is it's a tool that helps people prepare for online job interviews or job interviews in general and excel in the online job interview process. So it's a Chrome extension, And when you're browsing on your favorite job listing website, whether it is Indeed or LinkedIn, whichever it is, it'll extract the job details from the listing you're viewing. That's the company, the role type, and all the description. Feed that into the application. You input your resume, you import your LinkedIn profile, so it extracts all the information from your LinkedIn profile, so Acedit gains a rich understanding about the user. And then what will happen is once you submit the job, it will generate a bunch of questions that it thinks could be asked in that interview for that company and role that you're applying for. And these are targeted questions. And then based on that rich understanding of you, the interviewee, it will show a recommended way to respond to that question. And it will use your own specific examples that you have in your resume, on your LinkedIn. You can even input your own STAR examples. And that STAR is an acronym that's used for people to structure examples in their job interview. STAR being situation, task, action, and result. So as you generate these answers, it feeds off all of that context to give personalized responses. And then when you've practiced a bit, you can hop right into the simulation interview where you have an AI voice asking you questions and emulating a real job interview. And if you gave a bit of an average response, it'll say that response is average for X, Y reason. So it's a really great tool to practice and gain that confidence and understand how the system works when a question's asked, and then it shows a recommended way to respond. So then when you go into the real deal, whether it's a Zoom, Teams interview, it will pick up when the question's asked from the interviewer and give a recommended way to respond live, real time, whilst you're in your online interview. So yeah, that's the one of the key points of the product. And it's to ensure that it eases your nerves and gives you a helping hand and ensures you present your best self and all the examples you wanted to bring in. One of the things my brother faced was he had all these examples he wanted to bring up, but because he got so nervous, he forgot to bring up maybe half of them. So yeah, that's the product in a nutshell. And it's been a wild journey developing it myself, being a solo founder, going through the joys of trying to find a co-founder. Haven't really succeeded in that yet, but still looking. And yeah, really build and ship early. Just get it out there.
Yeah, this idea is really genius, and I think there are so many variations for this idea. So startups could also develop a tool for sales, for even something like for podcasts or consultancy, for all kind of other types of requirements. And so you invested 10 months to develop this tool. Is it right? Yeah. How fast could you have created it if you were using minimum viable product? And which features would you not include?
Right. Oh, good question. Really, realistically, it should have only taken about 6 to 7 months. I got too stuck down in ensuring a lot of things like latency was improved, or one of the features I really got stuck into was ensuring the user has the ability to change the structure of the response that they get back. And I don't think enough people actually care to modify that sort of information yet. Or even another one was you can export all the data from your interview in a spreadsheet afterwards. And only a handful of people have actually used that feature. So there's a lot of things like that weren't necessarily required right off the bat, but I was just me anticipating what I thought the user would value, and that's not always the case. Maybe that's what you or I thought I would value, but in the real world, it's not always the case. So yeah, if I released it earlier with less features and just the basic first feature I built, which is the real-time help. At that point, it had less of a focus on preparation and more on the helping you whilst you're in your online job interview. if I shipped it at that point and that was the what I declared as the MVP, then that would have been great. And if I got my website up even earlier, and saying like, look, I have this awesome product, it's coming soon, get excited, then the SEO would have already started working its trick because I would have, started indexing on Google sooner, and posting on other platforms. So yeah, just do it earlier, I think is really important.
How do you approach new features now with all this experience? Do you analyze analytics? Do you create a very simple version? How do you decide which feature to implement in full?
I think what I do is I gather a lot of user feedback. I'm using a really cool open source tool that I'm self-hosting pretty much for free. It's called Formbricks. Highly recommend it. And that when the person finishes their mock interview or their real interview, they have the opportunity to submit feedback if they'd like. And that's been really good because occasionally people do give suggestions on things they would like in the product, which is really good. Um, so yeah, gaining feedback through a feedback form system is really, really great. And then the other thing is, yes, analytics is also extremely important and a really good tool, not only just to figure out what features you want to add, but to also troubleshoot any issues your product may be facing. And the analytics tool I've been using, which is like also really good and really cost effective, is called PostHog. And they have so many different SDKs that you can integrate their analytics tools into uh, any sort of product that you ship. And it really gives rich insights into how your users use your product, where they're clicking, where they're not. Um, and that sort of insight is also really beneficial to kind of figure out what direction you want to go with building the product, changing or tweaking this or that feature. So I think a combination of ensuring you're gaining feedback from your user and also analyzing all of the analytics that you can gather. They're probably two of the best things you can do to gain that sort of insight.
What do you look in your analytics? What do you focus on? How do you recognize certain patterns or certain decision making aspects in your analytics?
Right. Well, there's various analytics we collect. One, for instance, is the latency on the question detection. So latency would be extremely crucial for my product, because you don't want to be left hanging when you're asked a question and it takes too long to respond.
So for people who don't know, it's the time for the AI tool to create an answer, yes?
Yeah, exactly, exactly. The time between when the interviewer has verbally asked you a question and when the AI starts spitting out a response for you.
Yes,
So
yes.
that's super important, and that's one of the things we track in the analytics. And with this AI space, it's so rapidly evolving. It's crazy. Like every few days, there's a new model from a different provider. It's not even just OpenAI anymore. There's like a heap out there. So you really have to keep your finger on the pulse with what's out there and what's best to use. And there's a few factors I have to consider, which is of course, the speed, latency, which I've just discussed, and the quality. So throughout the lifetime of the product, while looking at that specific analytic measurement, um, we have tried various different models. So like starting out with just like when I started out, it was GPT 3.5 Turbo, I think. And that's like ancient now. Isn't that crazy? It was only like literally like, I don't know, a year and a bit ago. But now that's ancient in the terms of these AI models. Um, and now Google's really picked up the ball, and I'm using Gemini 2.0 model, and it's super quick and it gives really great responses. So I think they're almost leading the game now, and also it's really cost-effective model to use. So that's also another factor that needs to be considered. Um, but in terms of other analytics we look at, you can collect like what they call heat maps of your product, which shows you where your user's clicking, what they're scrolling through. So if they're kind of stuck in a particular step in your user flow, then you're like, oh, all right, this is interesting. It seems like a lot of users are getting stuck at this particular point, and then you can kind of like delve into it further and figure out what may be causing that. So that's also another really good thing you can do with these analytic tools. Um, and they really are getting better and better. This particular one called PostHog has shipped a new feature where they give you like an AI chat sort of terminal where you can interact with all your analytics data. So you can ask specific targeted questions like, how many users do X or Y sort of action in our product? And then it will generate whatever database sort of query it needs to spin up to find that information, and then it relays it to you, which is super, super helpful. So yeah, it's analytics is really crucial, really crucial.
How was your process of choosing the right analytics tool? Were you considering Google Analytics? Were you comparing all the different types of analytics tools?
Yeah, I mean, I did play around with a little bit. I like to really watch this tech YouTuber who really goes into a lot of details about all of these products out there, what's good to use, and recommend a few tools. And he had recommended that tool I mentioned called PostHog. And their pricing model is like almost next to nothing unless you're like at a scale where you have millions of users, and then it's actually, going to cost you a little bit. But even then, it's like so what was it? I think it was SendGrid, is another really popular analytics tool. And gosh, is it like, in my opinion, it seems overly complicated and harder to integrate. Whereas PostHog, it came out of YC, yeah, yeah, which is I'm sure a lot of listeners know about YC, VC fund in Silicon Valley, I think. Anyway, so they've been really successful in what their in their analytics product, and yeah, it was recommended to me through this YouTuber I watch, Tio, and yeah, it's brilliant. It's really good. Even to the point where there was like a time where their system part only a small part of the system was down for like 2 minutes. It didn't impact me at all, but they sent out like a huge voucher to all their users to buy merch. So I got like a really nice t-shirt and a mug, and it's like, oh, that's pretty cool. I guess that's really good customer service, even though I haven't really spent that much money with them in the first place. So it's pretty neat. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, we will link all those tools that you recommend in the description. What is the name of the YouTuber?
Theo, Theo,
Theo.
I
Mhm.
think GG. He's really good. He's like a, yeah, like a nerdy tech YouTuber. He's the best. I've learned so much from him, so definitely give him a watch.
Yeah, SendGrid is email tools, as far as I know.
Oh,
But yeah,
it
there are
wasn't,
some tools that are very overly complicated. Yeah, if you are more interested in good examples, in good
yeah.
tools, but yeah, there are an ocean of tools that are overcomplicated.
And extremely expensive. That's the
Oh
problem.
yes.
So that I forgot the name of this other tool. It was I think it's like one of the market leader analytics tools, and it was going to be costing me like I don't know, rough ballpark like $100 or more a month. And it's like for what? There's only like one tool I'm paying that much money for, and like there unfortunately doesn't seem to be a real good alternative to it yet. Sentry, which is used for error tracking, log tracking. Sentry is really, really rich and a good product, and a lifesaver when you run into technical issues to try and figure out what's going on. Without it, you're kind of left in the dark. So, but that is expensive. They've been around for a while. Um, I reckon someday soon there'll be a real good competitor to Sentry, like a Postdog, that will be much more cost effective. So we'll see. But for now, that's what we'll be using.
I like that you have clarity about what are the most important KPIs or factors, latency and the quality. So it makes it much easier to prioritize your tasks and what features. And how did you find it? Was it also you put yourself into the shoes of the target audience?
Yeah, I mean, I had to, right? So, I mean, I was using the I was testing it quite a lot and trying to see, is this latency acceptable? That's kind of part of the problem I face with before thinking what's the MVP. Um, I wasn't happy with the latency, and
Mm.
that led me to keep trying to, make a better solution, figure out how I'm gonna have a formidable backend that really um, ensures that I can deliver that key latency figure that I was trying to obtain. But in the end, like I should have just put it out there at what it was, and then it would have got it. It literally just got better when new models shipped that were faster. So I wake up the next morning. GPT-4 comes out or something like that, and then bam, the latency is improved by like double. And I didn't really need to do anything except change the actual model itself, which is just a matter of changing a few characters in the code. So that's pretty cool moments when these updates come along and you can just over 2 minutes make these changes and it makes a night and day difference.
Yeah, I can imagine if your tool is so unique that there is no alternative, then people, yeah, they would also accept if the tool wasn't perfect, if the latency wouldn't be perfect. And yeah, if you launched it earlier, then you could have already improved the SEO and marketing, and also would be able to improve the features according to the analytics,
Yeah,
that
yeah.
real life experience, not just in your
Yeah,
head.
yeah. Another thing that like was a bit of not a slap in the face, but a bit of a reality check was I was extremely naive to think the day I release this product, so many people want it and need it that it's going to go viral like straight away. Like I'm going to have hundreds of users in the matter of days to a week. So wrong. I was so wrong. I'd been told I was wrong before I did it, but I didn't listen to anyone. I'm like, no, no, no. I have the best product. It's gonna do it. But no, it does. It's reality is like it's a big wide web out there. How the hell, it's not gonna just go viral like that. It takes time. So I've learned that the hard way, and that's good and humbling. Um, but yeah, I had help earlier, a bit earlier on in my journey with this really good development marketing UI UX firm out in Nepal called Progressive Labs. I'd highly recommend them to anyone looking for a well-priced, really good team based out in Nepal. And they're a really friendly bunch. I've actually been out to Nepal and met them all in Kathmandu. It's such a great place. Um, but they gave me a UI UX Figma design for my front end website. And boy, night and day difference between what I had done, I'm not a designer, to then their new design and implementing it. It looks like a polished product before it didn't quite look like that. And another thing that kind of drilled into me at that point was how important SEO is and how to get that organic growth. If you're thinking to like throw hundreds of dollars, thousands of dollars at paid advertising early on, it's probably not the best thing, I would say. And also, that's the advice I've been given. It kind of can be wasted at an earlier stage. So you kind of want to try and grow organically quite a bit before thinking of any paid advertising routes. So one of the best ways to do that, in which how we achieved it, was having a lot of blog posts. I was like thinking, what the hell? Like, this is 2024. Like, why are blog posts so important? I thought this is like ancient history, but um, no, it's not. It really is not. So the Google algorithm really favors these blogs heavily. Um, so and it can be a pain manually writing them. Um, in fact, why? Like, you don't really need to manually write it. So there's a bunch of products out there, AI tools, that help automate this blog posting process. So they their application gains a rich understanding about you and your product that you're trying to sell and the niche area you're trying to market to, and the keywords you want to try to target in Google. Um, and then it will just generate a bunch of blog posts. These blog posts can have YouTube videos featured in them, a bunch of links to other websites, which helps with SEO once again. And then this is really crucial. Like a lot of the traffic I've got to my site have come from these blog posts, which is crazy. And like you can automate this whole process and like just put it on the back burner and have this all just run for you. And I've tried so many of these different tools of these AI blog posting automation systems, and it took a while to find the best one, but I've settled on the best one at the moment. It's called SEO Bot. Um, it's a bit pricier than some of the other competition out there, but I find that the quality of the articles it produces, integrating YouTube videos and better links, is great. Some of the other tools that I'd use will like integrate links into the blog posts, and then those links are broken links, and then that actually hurts your SEO, which is no good. So I've played around with a lot of these tools, and I've settled on SEO Bot, and it's doing wonders. It brings in random organic traffic to the site, to these blog posts, and to my surprise, people actually spend time on the blog post pages and read it. I mean, again, I was just assuming based on how I consume media, but you can't just think about how you would respond to a particular situation. That's not realistic. So yeah, the blog posts single-handedly, I think, mostly have been what has given us all these users. Yes, I've also pursued social media a bit here and there, but I'm a bit of a nerdy guy, and social media is not really my thing at all. Um, I'm having to bite the bullet and like, put myself out there a bit more and try, finesse my LinkedIn, YouTube. LinkedIn just released recently video formats on their platform. So their algorithm was heavily favoring LinkedIn videos, which is an interesting thing I've been told about to experiment with, but I've yet to bite the bullet. Anyway, separate topic, but yeah, it's you really just got to keep pushing those channels. And I've spent a tiny bit on paid promotion, but like, only a small amount. Just to experiment here and there, which would be the most cost effective. But I haven't really continued with it at all yet. I'm still trying to get those organic channels to work well for me. And if you can get it well and get that viral like little gem that everyone talks about trying to get, then that is like way more valuable than spending hundreds of thousands of dollars on some expensive marketing campaign that isn't actually necessarily getting you the traffic to your website that you want. Like, so when I ran these advertising campaigns, yes, I saw an awesome spike in my visitors to my website, but did that convert to more downloads? No, it really did not. Like, for instance, if I'm getting 100 visitors to my site through organic means, I may be getting about 20 downloads in that particular day, which is cool. And then if I try the paid advertising route and I got like 1,000, I may still be getting the same amount of downloads, which is, yeah. That also probably is me not knowing what I'm doing with paid advertising, because it is confusing. It really is, especially all the Google advertisement routes and stuff. It's like, gosh, does it seem overly complicated at times? So it's really a bunch of learnings to be had there that I'm yet to be enlightened on. But yeah, organically growing is obviously more beneficial. You're not having to pay for it, and you're getting the people that are actually looking for the product, that are ending up there because that's what they're looking for. So it's super important.
Yeah, I used to be a big fan of Google Ads, but they removed so much control from their users, and it doesn't seem like they are on the side of their advertisers or of the users, because they if you just create it without knowing which settings to set up, they are using very, very bad settings. You might think they want also happy customers, but
Yeah,
no, they don't. They want just to squeeze everything from you.
yeah,
And if you start, so usually if you were choosing the right keywords and they would rank you for those right keywords, that could work pretty well. But the problem is they stopped listening to your keyword choice. You are saying to Google, you want to rank, you want to be placed for the exact keyword, they still choose different keywords. And they say, yeah, our AI is so smart, it will choose very relevant keywords. But then you look at them and AI is not that smart and their keywords are not that smart, not that
Yeah.
relevant.
Yeah.
And also they recommend you to use broad keywords and also display ads in the search campaign, which is horrible idea. So in display ads, your ad is shown on apps and people are clicking on those ads oftentimes by not realizing it's actually an ad. So you get 10,000s of cheap visitors, but none of them realize they clicked on advertising. They thought it's part of the app. So it's really sneaky from Google, and they are destroying themselves. And of course, if you do SEO and if you create relevant blog posts, so people who have interview coming up, they are searching for this kind of keywords. And I saw that you rank, for example, how to introduce yourself to the interviewer. So very specific things like interview outfits for summer, software
That's
engineer
from a blog post.
interview questions. Yeah.
Yeah.
So with the AI tool, you are also able to create very, very specific topics. Usually before AI tools, you would invest so much time or money in creating those posts, and it wouldn't be worth it to have maybe a post that has 10 visitors every month to invest like 40 euros or something if you ordered it. But now you can create it maybe for 4 euros or even
Yeah.
much lower, 40 like 1 euro or dollars, or yeah. And suddenly it's worth it. You have 10 visitors per blog post maybe, but you have hundreds of blog posts, and it's all relevant traffic.
Absolutely, yeah. And I think they say content is king with the algorithm somehow. So, yeah, it's important for sure. And like with my experience with Google Ads, like I was trying to run a campaign, and with Acedit, it's a Chrome extension, right? So it's only for desktop
Ah,
computer users. I don't want to advertise to people on their phone that much because the thing is, when they go to click add to Chrome, they can't add it on their phone. So I may get people all the way flowing through to the point where they're interested in adding the extension, and then they can't add it and they forget about it. And I couldn't target. It was something the way I set it up, I know, but it was really frustrating. Frustrating,
yeah,
yeah.
it's also
So,
so complicated with all those conversion tracking. This AI only works when you need two requirements for the algorithm of Google Ads to work. You need the conversion tracking setup, and it's so complicated. It's incredible.
yeah, I've gone through that too. It's wild. I had to set up a scheduled call with the specialist to do this weird conversion tracking thing, and it seemed like, come on, like overly complicated for no good reason.
Absolutely. In
Yeah,
times of AI,
yeah.
you need to give to set it up so technically, instead of just adding the code and would be doing everything by itself. But no. And the second thing is also this algorithm starts working better when you have a bigger budget. Then it starts learning, then it gets conversions, and you need at least 30 conversions per campaign to start that the algorithm starts understanding which kind of traffic it needs. So there are many factors that don't work for smaller startups, especially without expertise in those areas. How was your experience? So you started doing SEO, and probably you didn't see results immediately. What was your feeling and thoughts?
Oh, it was a bit of an internal battle, right? Because I had such high expectations. So um, it was impossible not to let it get me down a little bit. So I really had to have the right people around me to say, no, get out of your head, stop thinking those negative thoughts. It is doing better than you think, and be a bit realistic about it. So also, like another thing was I was getting a lot of users, but I was not many of them were becoming premium users. Actually, from the get-go, part of the reason why I thought it would go so viral was I didn't even have a paid tier. I was giving it all away for free. I'm thinking, look, someone's going to pick this up and it's going to go crazy because you don't have to pay a cent for it. And yeah, not right. So I introduced the paid tier eventually, and started to figure out what features would be beneficial to have on the free tier and what would be better to have on the paid tier. How could I entice users to upgrade? What's the right pricing model? Is it the subscription model? Is that subscription model monthly or quarterly? Or yeah, so we started off doing a quarterly subscription, which somewhat worked, but and then pivoted to a monthly subscription, which got me nothing pretty much. So and then I thought, hey, I don't think these users really want a subscription service. People don't want to have to worry about another payment that's automatically coming out of their account without realizing, and they forget about it. It's no good. So then I recently pivoted to package-based pricing, one-time pricing, and that has made a night and day difference. Along with that, we've introduced a mid-tier. So we've got our Premium Plus and a Premium tier. And there was something I read about it, or someone told me the psychology of three choices, which is interesting. So, in fact, even though there's a decent price gap between the Premium and Premium Plus, most people choose the Premium Plus tier. Premium Plus tier has unlimited interviews and lifetime access, unlimited access to all the features. Whereas the Premium tier is restrictive on how many live interviews and practice interviews you can conduct. So a lot of people see more value in spending that little bit more to go Premium Plus and get the lifetime value. So that's working wonders for us at the moment, and our conversion rate is much better than it was.
So it's all about understanding the target audience. Are there certain things that changed your opinion about your target audience when you started now having experience with the target with real data? Did you learn something that blow your mind kind of, or changed your mind at least?
Yeah, I had no idea sort of where most of my users would be, and who I should be targeting. So that's kind of come a bit more clear to me as I've gained more users, figured out what the most common industry is people are using it for. It can work in a wide variety of industries, pretty much like everything out there. It's the friction to the barrier to entry, or the level of trust people have inherently in AI products. So obviously the easiest one, the type of area that has the less friction to adopting an AI tool is people in the tech space. So whether it is software developers or IT support people, or anything in that sort of industry, that's probably like the greatest fraction of my users are in that area. Um, so that's been interesting to learn. And then in terms of geographically, most of my users are split between the United States and India. I have users in like I think it's like 25 or 30 plus countries around the world, which is really crazy to see. Like a lot in Europe too and stuff, but majority are between the US and India. So I've kind of narrowed down how I need to focus on those two particular markets. Even in Australia here, not really many people care for it yet, I guess. It's all probably to do with the way the Google algorithm is favoring those blog posts and what sort of people come across them. But yeah, it's been an interesting journey to see, yeah, what sort of industry people are using the tool for, and where they're situated.
Yeah, I see in the SEMrush that also Brazil generates some traffic to you. They are searching for your brand name, so they
Yeah.
heard about the
Yeah,
name somewhere.
it's cool. Like I don't know how, but I mean, I guess it's all through the SEO work. Um, we only support English in our platform at the moment. We really are hoping to support multiple languages in the future. All the capabilities are there for it in terms of these AI models and the support behind the scenes. So we could really build that feature out if enough users were in those other countries down the track. But I guess for now, what the most important thing is to focus on our strengths, which is in the US and India. And yeah, it's cool to see all these people around the world using it. It's kind of I take it for granted, and then I have to step back and think, wow, like I've built this thing and all these people around the world are using it. That's pretty bizarre. It's cool. So we've got over 3,000 users, and we've just hit over 100 premium users. But the ramp of premium users has been going up more recently because of the way we've pivoted our pricing model. Um, and when I actually get this organic growth a bit more down track, like even if I could triple it where it's at now, then it's becoming a successful business. But not fully there yet. It's been a bit of a struggle quitting my full-time job, leaving my like great salary as a software engineer and going all in and believing in this product. It's been a wild journey and obviously no regrets. Um, yeah, so it's been a bit of a leap of faith, but it's been a good one.
Yeah, that's a inspiring story. Yeah, I think it was also really good timing when before that software engineers, they were the kings of the world, kind of. I mean, not about you, but about your target audience. And then suddenly with AI and with maybe recession, many software engineers were laid off, especially with USA, in Silicon Valley, and they were probably first not used to interviews, because back then they didn't need to do an interview. Everyone wanted them, and suddenly for the first time of their life they needed. And they were
Yeah,
also oftentimes probably not so extroverted, so they all
yeah,
struggled and they were searching in Google for some advice, and
yeah,
you were at the right time at the right place.
yeah.
As the last question, what are your priorities at the moment?
Oh my gosh, yeah. That's a hard question. Like, I mean, I should have an easy answer to it, but I guess my priorities are growing my organic growth. Because that's super crucial to ensuring the business can support itself. At the moment, and it has been for a while, it can support all its expenses, outgoings, absolutely fine, which is awesome. But that's just about it. It's not really making much money yet. I have not got anywhere near supplementing my previous income. So I'm really trying to focus on how I can grow. And I think another area that I haven't focused on enough, and my product is all B2C. If I had the growth I had right now and as a B2B product, it'd be a different story. It'd be a lot more financially successful than it is right now. So I'm thinking to not fully pivot my focus, but give a bit more focus to the B2B aspect of the business, approach more recruiters, firms that help people that have been laid off, and this they can provide tools to these people to help them excel, prepare, and get their next job. And this could be one of those tools as part of their package of whatever they provide to these people. So I need to focus more on B2B partnerships, I think, and that will bring in a bit more funds so I can, continue focusing on growing the B2C side, and then maybe get a professional in to help with the paid advertising a bit more and keep finesse my social medias. Like I need to just get over myself about being in front of a camera and do some more YouTube shorts, LinkedIn shorts, and promote myself that way. Give like little job interview tips and like build a bit of a brand image. And a lot of people say a really good way to get a bit of a following is build in public. It's just a term that gets thrown around at the moment quite a lot. So to be very upfront and apparent about your progress, how much you're making, and your outgoings, about how many users you have, and all sorts of stuff like this. So I think also that's going to be my focus in the short term is start to build in public a bit more, produce more content to help with the organic growth, because producing a lot of YouTube shorts on that is really good. When I look at my analytics I gather on how did you hear about us question. Um, at the moment, most of it's from Google, which is awesome. That makes sense. It's from the SEO work we've done. But second most is LinkedIn and then YouTube. So I haven't even done that much on those platforms. So if I focus on them a bit more, it'll get me more organic growth coming from those channels, which is beneficial. So I think that's the short-term vision. The long-term vision, of course, is to continue building out the product, providing value to the users, shipping more valued features that the users request, and taking the product to the next level.
Maybe I can give you some ideas from my perspective with all
Please.
my experience in marketing. When I was listening to you, I had some ideas. For example, so if you want to, maybe you already do it and know it. If you want to have more success with SEO, it's a good way to gain valuable, strong, relevant backlinks. So other websites linking to your website, it's like a currency in SEO. Every website has domain authority.
Yeah.
So, for example, Wikipedia is not one, maybe number one, or Reddit at the moment probably is number one. Okay, let's say Wikipedia, because they don't have so much content. And every page that is published on those website ranks 1,000 miles better than if a smaller website publish that. And according to to SEMrush, your authority is 20, domain authority is 20, which is okay, it's good. But if you increase it to, for example, 40, there are ways, for example, you could also buy those backlinks, those links with relevant websites. It sounds not very organic, and it sounds, some people say it's not like it's a cheating, but in reality is it unfortunately it works. And Google looks at content and also on domain authority. And if you increase that, then suddenly all your posts will increase in rankings.
I've been trying to do that. I've actually employed a service that helps list my product on a bunch of AI tool listing websites, and that gives me those backlinks. And it's called Listing Bot. It's made by the same guy who did SEO Bot, which is the blog posting tool I mentioned earlier. And he's built like this AI agent that can automate the process of listing on all these websites that give you these valuable backlinks and kind of expose your product across the web. I know I don't have that much yet, but I'm slowly trying to trickle in more. It's still early days for me in that area.
Yeah, the problem with those listings, they bring you traffic, which is good. So relevant traffic probably. But usually those listings, the links on those listings are not, they have a tag called no follow, which means it says to Google that don't value this link as a recommendation. So they don't increase your domain authority for Google.
Right. I had no idea. That's
so yeah, the best links are from blog posts, from other blogs. Especially if they are topically relevant. And sometimes you can just contact them and ask for if they want to, especially if they are already listing some blogs or websites, in your website or blog is relevant or tool is relevant, then they might even accept it for free. But also you can hire someone who can build some backlinks for you. But important is not the quantity, but the quality. Even if you have like 5 blog links to your website, it can make a pretty big difference. Also with B2B, I was thinking in Germany, for example, in schools, there are consultants who consult which path you can go. And if those consultants know about your tool, they would probably recommend it to their pupils. So it's a leverage. It could be a leverage. And probably in different countries, there are some kind of consultants for high school students or even for college. And in general, if several people know you in certain high schools, then the word might spread. So maybe like the last classes in those high schools could be also as a target audience. And if the word is spread, then they it would be free publicity for your tool because it's so useful.
Absolutely. Our free tier has plenty like rich preparation features. You can still do the simulation interview and all the practice questions. So even at a free level, it's plenty of preparation for students. So yeah, that's a good route. I definitely need to explore it more.
Also, the third thing I wanted to mention, you mentioned several things that you would like to explore and that videos have so much potential. There is also a danger of overwhelming and trying to do too many things. I know it from my own experience, and everyone is talking about yeah, this worked for me the best. You have to do that, definitely.
Yeah, yeah,
And then the next guy is to saying a different thing for them. And of course, for everyone, what they don't count into consideration. For some people, it's better to have a video because they are this kind of person. It wouldn't work maybe with text for them or audio. But yeah, you have to find your thing, and it's good to test other alternatives. But in the end of the day, you don't need to think like, oh, I'm missing out because I'm not doing certain part. If one part works for you and you already understand it better and better, then you can achieve quite a lot with one thing. And also, of course, like invest a little bit of time in testing out another thing, but it's very easy to get overwhelmed if you try like 3-5
yeah,
things, and
yeah,
then you realize, oh, what's
yeah.
happening?
It's hard to stay focused. Yeah. No, I've definitely experienced that a bit myself. Like, as you mentioned, you get all this advice from all these different people, and some may contradict others. And then it's like, well, what do I believe? What's the right way to go about this? Yeah. So it kind of ends up being like your own journey of trial and error to see what best fits your product in the end. At least that's what I found. But yeah, not spreading myself too thin, especially being a solo founder, is important.
Yeah, the good thing is your tool is very attractive kind of for a certain target audience, and it's just a matter of being in front of this target audience. So it's a matter of scaling that part, and at least you don't need to worry about whether your tool is has demand or not. That's a huge step for a startup.
Yeah, yeah,
Would you like
awesome.
to say some last words to our listeners, to our audience? Would you like them to do something?
Yeah, all right. If you're thinking of building something, or sitting on this idea for a long time and you're not sure to take the leap, you just got to do it. Just give it a crack. Start small, chip away at it, see if it's a viable product or not, and then just go all in. What have you got to lose? Like, if you're not really satisfied in your 9 to 5, then and you've been thinking about this opportunity that's been on your mind for ages. Why is it still on your mind? Do something about it, you know? So that's what I would say is just act on it and give it a go. And there's so many ways and tools out there for you to build MVP. Even if you're not a technical person, you can use tools like Lovable. There's heaps out there to just ship something fast, and get it out there and give it a go.
Wow, that's very inspiring, and people don't realize how much value this advice has, because yeah, you cannot progress, you cannot learn without publishing your product. And in your brain, it's so many people have so many ideas, and it doesn't count anything. And you don't need to be afraid of people stealing your idea. It's so difficult to create a startup, to build a startup, to build an idea. So that's just share the idea, learn, try to find the right people, and then you can progress. Otherwise, you are wasting a lot of potential. Thank you so much, Ethan. It was
You will, yeah.
so great, and I really appreciate so many tips for good tools. We will link them all in the description. I really wish you a lot of luck and a lot of success with your startup and with scaling it.
Thank you, Will. Really appreciate it. And thank you for having me on the podcast.
It was a pleasure. Bye bye, Ellen.